Most of you already know that during the time period of slavery, there was a diabolical practice in place. This diabolical practice was having one slave whip another slave as a form of punishment. But did you know that this diabolical punishment, this diabolical practice reached even more levels of depravity than you have ever heard about? Yes. Sometimes the slaves would have compassion on their brothers and sisters, and they would not whip them extremely hard. When they did this, the slave master would cause the slave that was being whipped to, in turn, whip the slave that showed them mercy and compassion for showing them mercy and compassion. And then after they whipped the slave for showing them mercy and compassion, they were then ordered to re-whip the first slave who was ordered to be punished, but whip them properly. Many people doesn't know about this, but it is documented in one of the slave narratives called Life of William Grimes, Runaway Slave. Here's the book, and William Grimes actually documents this diabolical level of this practice happening to him. Look what he says. At one time, my master, having caused an oven to be built in the yard for the purpose of baking bread for the Negroes, I went there and finding it not quite dry, made impressions with my fingers, such as letters, etc., on it, while the mortar was green on the outside. Gabriel, one of the servants, a son of old Valentine, was ordered to strip my shirt up and whip me. The word severely has been so many times used, it needs no repetition. My master stood by to see the thing well executed, and as he thought he did not be severe enough, he ordered me to strip him and perform the same ceremony, which I did. He then ordered Gabriel to try to whip me harder than he did before. Then Gabriel knew what the old man meant, to wit, to whip me as severely as lay in his power, which he effected on the second trial, exerting all his strength and agility to the utmost to make me suffer, only to please his master. This being so often the case, the Negro drivers, and indeed the slaves, show much less humanity in punishment than the masters themselves. So I want you guys to think about something. We often talk about, and people often talk about, how slaves would whip other slaves and they would be more cruel than the masters or the overseers in whipping them. Well, a lot of times they did this because if it was deemed that they did not whip them hard enough or severe enough, then the slave master or overseer would cause the one being whipped to whip the one doing the whipping, and then they would be ordered to re-whip the initial one whipped. Crazy, isn't it? The more you know.